It's not long until the release of Pokémon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, but there's still more to learn about the game as the Pokémon Company not only showed off a new trailer introducing Team Rainbow Rocket, but a Japanese overview trailer that also revealed some more snippets of the game. It's really starting to come into its own, but there's always more to see. So let's break out the old analysis machine to see what secrets and hidden details these trailers hold, and we'll begin with the return of Team Rocket. Or rather Team Rainbow Rocket, as they've received a slight name change, and this is likely a reference to the fact that Rainbow Rocket consists of the 6 different team leaders from past generations, all seemingly led by Giovanni. Now this is most definitely a post-game quest, as the overview trailer shows you battling within the Rocket base with a Ho-Oh on your team. Considering that you won't have access to the Ultra Wormholes that take you to challenge the various Legendaries until after the main game, this makes sense as a later quest. What's interesting is that the Rainbow Rocket base is actually Lucamine's mansion on the Ether Paradise. Somehow they've completely taken it over, which includes the R iconography and a dark red hue to everything, giving it an ominous feeling. So how did this all happen? Well, it might be due to the Ultra Wormholes. We see one above the mansion with Wick just below. Did Giovanni somehow use them to bring together all the past leaders and stage this takeover? Would that explain the red redesign? And what's his end goal? We still don't really know. All that's apparent is that Team Rainbow Rocket takes over the building, and in another scene we see a grunt running out of the main Ether building with Giovanni calmly walking behind, which may take place when he lays claim to the building. Another look at the grunts show their new design as well as the interior of the mansion itself. The Rocket grunts are mostly the same except for the Rainbow R, a rainbow belt, and we can even see a great ball at the girl's hip. As far as Giovanni, well, he didn't stick to his vow that Team Rocket was finished forever and would instead study Pokémon, unless he's counting the new rainbow in the name as a technicality. However, his appearances during the special events in Heart Gold and Soul Silver made it clear that he did want to reform his Mafia, but was delayed by the efforts of Gold. One thing stays the same though. He loves the phrase World of Pain, as this dialogue was also used during the confrontations at Silphco, the Rocket Hideout in Fire Red and Leaf Green, and Black and White 2's World Tournament. He's consistent to say the least. Giovanni's team consists of 5 Pokemon, which includes a Mewtwo, and we even see power emanating from a smiling Giovanni, indicating that he can use Mega Evolution. This is soon proven true as the overview trailer shows the trainer facing off against Mega Mewtwo Y. It's quite likely that the version you play dictates which Mega Evolution Mewtwo will have. Of course, it's not just Giovanni who's part of Team Rainbow Rocket. Archie of Team Aqua and Maxie of Team Magma are aiding him, despite renouncing their ways in Gen 3. More interesting though is that Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are using their original designs and not the ones from the Gen 3 remakes. They aren't shown doing much, though we do know that every returning leader has 5 Pokemon on their team. The most interesting scene involving them though features Guzma behind the trainer fending off 2 grunts while they walk away together. As another point to show that this is post-game, Guzma no longer has a tattoo on his forearm. Still, it's interesting that he's helping you fight off Rainbow Rocket. As far as Archie and Maxie, it's very likely that they'll use Mega Evolution as well, probably Mega Sharpedo and Mega Camerupt. Cyrus is naturally here as well. While he was left behind in the Distortion World in Platinum, he actually vowed revenge in Diamond and Pearl, making his appearance here rather plausible. However, he uses a Houndoom on his team, which he only used in Platinum. Now, he could have added it to his team as a reference, since Giovanni never had Mewtwo on his team before this. The Houndoom would also be a good candidate to Mega Evolve on his team. Next up is Ghetsis, who seems to have recovered from his mental shutdown during Black and White 2. However, he is in his original Black and White costume, so this may take place between those games, although there is a timeline that places Sun and Moon as 2 years after Black and White 2. Canon doesn't seem to be a huge hang-up here though, and the Ultra Wormholes may explain some of that away. Ghetsis also seems to be the most dangerous, as we see a moment where he apparently captured Lily. She's on the floor behind him in the bedroom that belonged to Lucamine, so it appears he may use her as a kind of hostage, if the situation gets taken that far. The Pokemon shown on his team is a Hydreigon. His team is the only one that doesn't have a Pokemon that can Mega Evolve. It seems unlikely that new Pokemon will receive Mega Evolutions, so one that can will likely be added to his team. That is, if all the leaders actually do use Mega Evolution. Getsus does seem to be the odd one out though, as Lysander returns as well, apparently shaking off being buried in rubble. He's still spouting off the same beliefs he had back in X and Y, but we also see two of his Pokemon. He has a level 65 Pyroar that indicates just how strong these leaders are likely to be. And did you catch the fact that it comes out of a Master Ball? Seems like a bit of a waste. We also see a Mega Gyarados being used in the Rainbow Rocket base, which likely belongs to him since that was his signature Mega Evolution. Before we move on from Team Rainbow Rocket though, we wanted to mention how they seem to have taken over the Festival Plaza as well, marking the central building as their own. However, it's not clear how this will change the functionality of that, if at all. Maybe there's a side quest devoted to kicking Rainbow Rocket out? We just don't know enough yet. It's not just previous leaders returning though. Every single legendary Pokemon will be featured in Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. However, some of them are exclusive to certain versions, while others require special conditions. All the legendaries are found beyond the Ultra Wormholes, but Ho-Oh, Raikou, Groudon, Latios, Dialga, Heatran, Reshiram, Tornadus, and Xerneas are exclusive to Ultra Sun, while Lugia, Entei, Kyogre, Latias, Palkia, Regigigas, Zekrom, Thundurus, and Yveltal are exclusive to Ultra Moon. These are important though, as related Pokemon on both versions are necessary to make the third appear in your game. So Suicune needs Raikou and Entei, Rayquaza requires Groudon and Kyogre, Giratina relies on both Dialga and Palkia, Reshiram and Zekrom need to be present to catch Kyurem, while Landorus will only appear when you have Tornadus and Thundurus. The rest of the legendaries are non-exclusive and include Articuno, Zapdos, Moltres, Mewtwo, Cresselia, Regice, Regirock, Registeel, Uxie, Mesprit, Azelf, Cobalion, Terrakion, Virizion, and Zygarde. But it's not just the legendaries themselves that appear. The various forms are featured as well. So that means both of Mewtwo's Mega Evolutions, Mega Rayquaza, Origin Form Giratina, Black and White Kyurem, Mega Latios and Latias, the Therian forms of the Forces of Nature, Primal Groudon and Kyogre, and the complete form Zygarde will all be available. Zygarde's complete form is the most interesting as it's shown to have its own arena separate from the 50% form. Could it be that the two are treated as different Pokemon? Perhaps one with Power Construct and one without? This would also mean that collecting all 100 Zygarde cells would be unnecessary, which is a good thing to us as that side quest could be incredibly tedious. However, the idea behind that quest isn't completely gone. Instead, players will have to scour Alola for Totem Stickers. They may be intrinsically easier to find though, due to the fact that all of the ones featured in the trailer are stuck to some kind of vertical object, whether it's a building, a trailer, or even the side of a dock. The fact that they're stickers hopefully means that certain ones don't need to be found at a specific time of day. They'll just be there. The totem stickers that you collect are traded in so you can receive totem-sized Pokemon. We see Gumshoos, Lurantis, which is exclusive to Ultra Sun, and Salazzle, which is exclusive to Ultra Moon. What's not clear is what the advantage of a totem Pokemon is. Granted, it's bigger, but it lacks the aura of an actual totem Pokemon that granted buffs. Perhaps it'll be clearer in the full game? But the one who actually trades these Pokemon to you is Samson Oak. He hangs out on a beach near a sign for Mantine surfing, and we can even see a wider look at this beach thanks to the overview trailer. It looks different from the one we've seen so far, so there's likely more than one beach to Mantine surf, which makes sense since it can be used to traverse the islands. Before we move on from the totem Pokemon though, the overview trailer also contains a quick shot of what appears to be a Totem Gyarados. We already know a Totem Marowak replaces Salazzle in Key of A's trial. Could the Gyarados replace Wishiwashi and Lana's? Totem stickers aren't the only new feature introduced in the trailer though. There's also the Battle Agency where you battle both normal and special trainers using rented Pokemon. They're really serious about the agent part of the title though, as you have to don sunglasses. Despite the artwork showing a team of 3 trainers, they don't seem necessary for the battles, at least not yet. They do appear behind you during battles though. You have 3 rental Pokemon at your command to fight the opposing trainer. The type of Pokemon you can rent will actually increase as you mingle with other players around you or across the internet. And right off the bat, the 3 rental choices we see behind the receptionist include Bisharp, Thundurus, and Executor. There are more options, of course, as the Pokemon website has images including Regirock, Golisopod, Azelf, Lantern, Slowbro, Gyarados, Salazzle, and Raikou. You can even inspect their stats, moveset, and held items such as Electrium Z. These screenshots also show your trainer's grade going up to indicate that more Pokemon are available, and one of the rare rewards, a gold bottle cap. Now that's most of the information shown during the Meeting Team Rainbow Rocket trailer, but the overview trailer has quite a bit more to see, including new story segments. First of all, we still meet Lily in the same way as Sun and Moon, which means we still have to save Nebby and then are saved in return by Tapu Koko, indicating that it has chosen us. But since we receive our starter in a different way, we'd have to assume that Hala won't appear after you return to Iki Town, and instead you set out to find him yourself. In the process, you get attacked by a Yungoos and are then rescued by the starters. We even see a short section of the cutscene where Yungoos moves through the grass to attack. The rest of the new story scenes all feature either Lily, Lusamine, Guzma, or the Ultra Recon Squad. The first we see has Lusamine standing in front of an Ultra Wormhole in her mansion's basement, indicating that her story arc is still mostly the same. But she is involved with the Ultra Recon Squad in some way. We actually see them standing next to her without their eyes covered, but it's unclear when exactly this takes place. Could it be during your first visit to Ether Paradise, since you would have met the squad by this point? Then we have a brand new scene at the Altar of the Sun featuring this entire group with the Recon Squad running in. Lily has already changed into her new outfit, and yet both Lusamine and Guzma are there. Is it possible that this is after Necrozma took over Solgaleo or Lunala? Or is that in the aftermath of dealing with Lusamine herself? Based on how the Recon Squad runs in, it's likely this happens directly after the attack by Necrozma. Perhaps they're the ones who allow you to enter Ultra Space in order to stage a rescue. But could Lusamine and Guzma be redeemed earlier because of this? After all, another scene soon after features Lily, Lusamine, and Guzma. This may take place after your trainer decides to go in. Guzma is sulking in the back, similar to how he was in Ultra Space in the original game, while Lily has a shocked reaction, perhaps to your decision. Could a showdown with Lusamine take place before Necrozma's attack, and that act is what snaps her out of it? Again, we're just guessing based on limited evidence. The final sequence we wanted to highlight only shows Lily, but she's back at the Altar of the Sun with light falling all around. The same light we saw emanating from Necrozma. We think this could take place after Necrozma's defeat, where it finally let go of the captured light it had stolen. Okay, we're almost done here, but there's a few miscellaneous things we wanted to point out. For one, there's this new scene with a Ribombee that belongs to Mina. We can just see her hair beyond the trainer, again indicating that she'll have a slightly bigger role. There's also what seems to be a new function of the Rotom Dex. Could it be possible that it can analyze wild Pokemon stats before you catch them? That way competitive players can find a Pokemon with the nature and ability they desire. Then there's this scene of a double battle with Hal, but he's using a Noivern, which wasn't available in the original Sun and Moon, so it seems the Noibat line can now be caught. And speaking of new Pokemon, Hapu is now using a Golurk, which fits right into her ground specialization, and also tells us that it can be caught too. Finally, we see that Tapu Koko does step in to protect Hal and Hala from the invading Ultra Beast. It's just not clear if this replaces the old scene of its showdown with an Ultra Beast, or is something new in addition to that, though it might be a bit redundant. And that's everything we could find in the new Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon trailers. There's still plenty of questions left on the exact details of these new story events and extra features, but the games are truly showing how they stand out from the original releases of Sun and Moon. We can't wait to finally try them out ourselves just to see how different they really are. And yet we're still getting even more new information on November 10th. Of course, if we missed anything, make sure to let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to GameXplain for more on Pokemon and other things gaming.